Tyler was always kind of quieter since we were little, but not like quiet weird.
A classmate left in shock. A grandmother in denial. On September 10th, 2025, Tyler Robinson pulled the trigger that ended Charlie Kirk's life, and within hours, his own family made the agonizing decision to turn him in. Now, for the first time, they are breaking their silence about the son they thought they knew, and the choice that tore their world apart. In the wake of one of America's most shocking political assassinations, the Robinson family has come forward to share what they saw in Tyler's final hours of freedom. Their account paints a picture so unsettling, so at odds with the boy they raised, that his grandmother still cannot bring herself to believe he's guilty of murder. The transformation, they say, didn't happen overnight, but the final pieces snapped into place on September 9th, 2025, during what seemed like an ordinary family gathering. Hours later, Tyler drove 250 miles north to Utah Valley University, where he carried out the assassination of Charlie Kirk with a single rifle shot. For the Robinsons, that dinner marked the last normal moment before their lives were shattered forever. By cooperating with law enforcement, ultimately leading to Tyler's capture, the family made a decision experts have called extraordinary, an act of conscience almost unheard of in cases of political violence. But doing what they believed was right came at an unbearable personal cost. In St. George, Utah, where the Robinsons have long-standing ties, the revelations have shaken a community proud of its traditional Mormon roots and conservative politics. Neighbors describe the family as the embodiment of American values, making the contrast all the more jarring. A household of registered Republicans, loyal to Donald Trump, had raised a son who came to see conservative activists not as allies, but as enemies worthy of death. Tyler's grandmother, 69-year-old Debbie Robinson, was the first family member to break the painful silence. In interviews laced with confusion and denial, she described the Tyler she believes she knew, a version investigators say bears little resemblance to the calculating young man who spent September 9 planning an assassination. There's no way he could be violent. There's absolutely no way that he did that, Debbie told reporters, her voice straining with the desperation of a grandmother struggling to reconcile the impossible. I've watched that child grow up and I can't imagine that it would ever be him. And I'm not just saying that as his grandma, it's knowing him as I do. He's the shyest person, but the image she painted revealed a tragic disconnect between memory and reality. Debbie insisted Tyler had never shown interest in politics. He has never ever spoken politics to me at all. She doubted he had even touched a firearm. I don't think he ever shot a gun, to tell you the truth. He doesn't hunt. He's never liked anything like that. I know he doesn't own any guns. There's just no way he could have been that good of a shot. Those claims stood in stark contrast to social media posts, showing Tyler posing with weapons, including a Browning .50 caliber machine gun. The Robinson family's Republican identity runs deep. My son, his dad, is a Republican for Trump. Most of my family members are Republican. I don't know a single one who's a Democrat. We're Republicans for Trump, Debbie emphasized, underscoring the ideological gulf that had opened between Tyler and...
Since I met him growing up, was always a kind, respectful, genuine kid. The kind of student that teachers liked, and all this, I feel like, not just to me, but everyone else, has become really unexpected.
Family members told investigators that the evening began like any other Robinson gathering: ordinary conversation, shared food, familiar rhythms. But when the discussion turned to current events, Tyler's demeanor shifted abruptly. The mention of Charlie Kirk's scheduled appearance at Utah Valley University provoked an immediate and unsettling reaction. For the first time, his family witnessed a flash of political hatred they had never seen in him before. Investigators later confirmed that Tyler denounced Kirk as full of hate and spreading hate, his words laced with venom that stunned his conservative relatives, though some in the family disagreed with parts of Kirk's politics. None suspected Tyler's hostility had metastasized into something lethal. Their cooperation with law enforcement began almost instantly after they recognized him in FBI photographs. His father, Matt Robinson, faced a choice few parents could imagine. Confronting his son about one of the most infamous political murders in recent American history, Matt asked plainly, "Tyler, is this you? This looks like you." The answer confirmed his deepest fear. Tyler did not deny it. Instead, he admitted his role, then confessed he would rather end his own life than surrender to police. That response revealed the psychological collapse of a young man who, despite careful planning and ideological resolve, had not fully grasped the consequences of his actions. Matt Robinson's next steps required extraordinary moral courage. Rather than shielding his son or helping him escape, he sought help. He turned to a trusted family friend, a man uniquely positioned for the crisis, serving both as a youth pastor experienced in counseling troubled young people and as a court security officer with direct ties to law enforcement. Working with the Washington County Sheriff's Office and the U.S. Marshals Service, this intermediary guided Tyler toward a peaceful surrender. The Robinsons' choice of this figure was telling. They understood Tyler needed more than just legal authority. He required both spiritual grounding and practical protection. Their decision, experts later observed, represented a rare act of conscience under impossible circumstances.
You know what I know about Tyler is he was always very quiet. He was very smart. He had just a real mellow personality, never caused any problems. He, like I said, he was smart and he kept to himself, and I don't know who his friends were as of now.
As the ordeal unfolded, neighbors in the Robinsons' quiet St. George subdivision looked on in stunned disbelief, their peaceful community suddenly thrust into the center of a national firestorm. The family home, once unremarkable, was now cordoned off with police tape, encircled by flashing lights and swarmed by media crews. It became an unsettling symbol of how political violence can erupt from the most ordinary of places. Among the few willing to speak publicly was Kristen Schwerman, who had known Tyler since his elementary school years. Her reflections captured the depth of shock and sorrow reverberating through a neighborhood that once prided itself on being close-knit and insulated from such darkness. Schwerman's bewilderment mirrored the broader community response in a place where everyone knew everyone else. The notion that Tyler Robinson, the quiet, intelligent young man they had seen grow up, could commit a political assassination seemed unthinkable. For the Robinson family, choosing to cooperate with authorities came at a devastating personal cost. They lost their son to the criminal justice system and almost immediately found themselves subjected to intense public scrutiny and online harassment. Yet their decision may have saved lives, ending Tyler's brief descent into political violence with a peaceful surrender rather than more bloodshed. Their cooperation also gave investigators an indispensable window into Tyler's mindset in the final days before the killing. They revealed that he had been closely tracking Charlie Kirk's speaking tour schedule, a clear sign of premeditation. They opened access to his devices and personal spaces, helping authorities piece together the digital trail that would become central to the prosecution's case. Most significantly, they recounted the September 9th family dinner when Tyler openly voiced his hatred of Kirk just hours before the shooting. That conversation became a cornerstone of the state's argument that the attack was carefully planned rather than impulsive, the stark divide between Tyler's public image and his private. Radicalization has left his family grasping for answers. Neighbors described him as polite and helpful, while family social media showed a young man engaged in ordinary activities, holidays, vacations, outdoor adventures. But beneath that familiar surface, Tyler was undergoing a hidden transformation that culminated in political murder. His family's testimony now provides investigators with rare insight into how online radicalization can quietly reshape seemingly ordinary young Americans into domestic terrorists, while those closest to them remain unaware of the storm gathering in their midst.
The content of these messages included messages affiliated with the contact Tyler, stating a need to retrieve a rifle from a drop point, leaving the rifle in a bush, messages related to visually watching the area where a rifle was left, and a message referring to having left the rifle wrapped in a towel.